How to be an internet intellectual. My name is Alex. Welcome to All Nerds Welcome. Today we're going to talk about these specific dudes, mostly guys. I don't really see a lot of women out there saying this stuff, but there are a lot of internet intellectuals out there that believe that everything a company does, anything a company says, anything an actor does, anything a person does is just wrong, and they like to accuse them of being wrong by using some of these words, which I actually kind of came up with my own phrase since it's the internet and we're allowed to do things like that. Rhetorical accusations. My definition of it, because I looked online, there is no textbook definition for this. Accusing somebody of something in which there is no way the other person can respond. Why this happens, I know what you're thinking. Obviously, you could take it out of context, rhetorical accusation, and say you are just right. I kind of get that. But at the same time, where I think a rhetorical accusation is, there's not really usually evidence of something, but you can accuse somebody of something without any evidence. Everyone will think it's believed to be true. Now, before we start, I know biggest thing I know that people are going to compare this to is the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement. They have nothing to do with one another. A rhetorical accusation is somebody that says that somebody is, for example, which I'll get into later, virtue signaling, but there's no evidence of that. It's just a interpretation of an action that a company or a tweet a company has sent out. Whereas Time's Up and Me Too generally have multiple people that are accusing one person of wrongdoing, which by definition, that is a testimony, that is evidence. These things are not evidence. These words that I'm going to be telling you about, they're not real evidence. They can really be taken into any sort of interpretation, and usually when it comes to people like the quartering, become evidence of wrongdoing, and then become a video, and then becomes a rant, and then a bunch of people are circle jerking the idea of somebody wrongdoing. Now, I'm probably confusing you, so let me just go in with the first word I'm going to use. I'm going to be doing one by one. I'm going to give you some of the definitions, and the other ones are kind of up to interpretation, but I'm going to give you my interpretation. Tokenism, the practice of making only a perfunctory or symbolic effort to do a particular thing, especially by recruiting a small number of people from underrepresented groups in order to give the appearance of sexual or racial equality within a workforce. By me being common sense and being a more open-minded person, I don't see anything wrong with tokenism apart from the fact that by definition it's giving the appearance. Now that is something to really harp on. A lot of people will say that especially Marvel, for example, is nothing but tokenism. The Quartering did a video a while back that he said that, of course, he was reporting on rumors with no these are just somebody's uncle's friend, this, that, like huge link to say that, hey, Brie Larson wants to make her character a lesbian in the next movie. And then he'll say in his video famously, rumors, but he took it as word, and then he spread out this mumbo jumbo, and he said that if they put a gay character in Marvel, that it's somehow tokenism. There are a lot of articles that come out on Facebook that run the group that they just put articles out so people can hate click on and comment. We don't know for a fact. We know that they're looking into it. We know that Marvel, Kevin Feige has said that he's looking to put more representation into movies. I personally think it's a great thing. I think that for Marvel to continue after post-Endgame, they are going to have to make a little bit of diversity because, realize it's going to all feel the same. And then instead of critiquing them for this, you're going to be critiquing them for copying everything anyway. No matter what, you're always going to accuse them of something. I just think that tokenism is probably kind of the dumbest one, especially when the idea of it is definitely bad. But in that context, it's not really that bad. Plus, at the end of the day, and this is going to be what I'm going to say about almost all of these words, it's not proof of anything. It is an accusation in which a company can't prove that that's false or true unless they come out and say, which they would never. So it's like you're going to accuse, say, Kevin Feige of tokenism because he's going to put LGBTQ characters in the movies because that's the thing. You're pushing that you're cool with everybody. They could just be putting them in because it could make the stories more interesting, but you're interpreting it as they're just lying. You can't prove that they're lying because nobody put into an email at Marvel saying, hey, we need to do this because of this. You can't prove it. So now what you've done is you've accused somebody or a company of something that they really can't prove right or wrong. And you put them in a position where no matter what they say, they're going to be wrong. And at the end of the day, that kind of sucks. You can call somebody out for doing something, that's fine. But if you have some evidence, that would be great. Otherwise, you're just trying to make people hate a company with unsubstantiated things. And honestly, it does effectively work. There are millions of people, probably millions, online that get behind all these fake news articles and rumors. And I said before with Brie Larson, it's just like everything that she says, no matter what she puts out, no matter what she does, every single video you go on YouTube, there's so many people that just talk crap about her and act like they know her. They're like, oh, she's such a bitch. Oh, she's just this. All these things as if you personally have ever even met or will ever meet somebody. Especially when it comes to actors, for the most part, they're pretty private people. You don't know what's going on in their mind, just like we don't know what's going on in their mind and vice versa. Like nobody knows who people really are unless you're close to them. So it's very easy to accuse somebody of something, especially when they can't even respond back. So at the end of the day, what you're doing is, and when I say rhetorical accusation is, you're putting out a BS statement, all the people that already believe it. You're not really compelling anybody to change their mind because most people don't care about that. And you're just continuing a cycle of hatred towards companies for no reason. The next word, and one of my most annoying ones, virtue signaling. The textbook definition for that is the action or practice of publicly expressing opinions or sentiments intended to demonstrate one's good character or the moral correctness of one's position on a particular issue. Me personally, before I started making a YouTube channel, I still do. I work with like supermarkets, retail. I'm a root salesman. And when I'm going in and out, I always see the Girl Scouts, the veterans that are, I just saw them today at the time of filming. I forgot what their thing said. For the most part, whenever I have money in my pocket, I'll give it. If I do that, I know me personally, even without that action, I know I'm a good person. If I go and tweet saying, hey, I just donated this much, I'm so happy, it made me feel great, people can say you're virtue signaling. Was I actually doing that? No. Can I prove that I am virtue signaling or not? No. Unless there is a Black Mirrors type machine that records everything, so that way whenever somebody accuses you of something, you can just go, tick, put this on the computer and show evidence that there was a good intent. By using this phrase or whatever, virtue signaling, again, you are accusing anybody who is doing anything good of doing it for attention. Which at the end of the day, you could accuse anybody of virtue signaling. And no matter what answer they provide, they are going to look either dumb or look like they're seeking attention. Again, accusing people of virtue signaling is kind of like the dumbest thing. If let's just say someone is virtue signaling. Let's just say a company is virtue signaling, right? Rockstar. Rockstar goes out of their way and throws out a tweet saying, we're going to be donating to the LGBTQ with these microtransactions, blah, blah, blah. Like, we'll give a percentage of it to this company or this charity. Inherently, that's a great thing. Donating to any charity is a good thing. Now, it depends on each person on Twitter or their overlords. In this case, I'm going to keep using the example of the quartering because I think he's one of the most annoying examples of this. Will tweet under that they are virtue signaling. Whether or not they're doing it with a motivation, which most of the time, I'm not dumb. I'm not some moron. I know they're virtue signaling. Most companies, they really are. But at the end of the day, at least they benefit from it. So what you're calling them out, you're just getting your followers to believe that Rockstar is somehow the bad guy for donating money to something. You see what I'm saying? You can hit me up down below if you completely think I'm wrong about these things, but these are just my opinions and mine alone. Just something I've been thinking about. It's just like, what can companies do? Are companies just supposed to sit there, make games, and never get involved in anything? Are they not supposed to? I mean, there's plenty of Twitch streamers and YouTubers that go and do fundraising, and they go and do charity work. MatPat and the Game Theorist, he talked about it a while back, how they like YouTube gaming as a whole has raised more money than Jay-Z and Beyonce have donated, and there's way more money with them. You can keep talking about how you're virtue signaling, but if you're going to say that they're virtue signaling, then every single person, by definition, could be accused of that. And that's why I say it's a rhetorical accusation, because there's no proof, there's no evidence, there's nothing you can do to prove that differently. And all you're doing, and you think because you're such a small-minded internet intellectual, you think that because you claim somebody of virtue signaling, no matter what, you put them in a position, it's almost like a checkmate in chess. And I know you guys are going to love that analogy because I know how internet intellectuals love chess. You're putting them in a checkmate right off the bat. How is that fun? It's like you're literally taking your opponent's chess pieces, wiping them all off the board, and surrounding them with all your pieces. That's not how you even play chess. If you want to expose a company, if you want to show proof, show evidence, find emails, find some sources. No, it's much easier just to put out a meme of the bad signal with virtue written in it with no evidence, and then further making them seem like they're a bad company. At the end of the day, whether or not they're virtue signaling or not, they're still doing something good for the world. What are you doing for the world compared to that? The next one is fake woke. Now, fake woke, before J.K. Rowling, I always thought this was kind of like, whatever. Then I realized with her, we all know what fake woke means. It means somebody who tries, they're like, yeah, I'm hip, I support them, but in closed doors, I guess they're like, ha, I took their money. I think honestly, fake woke is the best you can get sometimes when it comes to companies. I mean, it's almost the same as virtue signaling. Fake woke is just you're trying to pander to people. It is really annoying. But I don't go around accusing everybody of it, because sometimes virtue signaling or fake woke does help people at the end of the day. So I kind of think like what you're doing is you're just trying to look tough for all your subscribers, and it usually does work. You believe that it's fake, they believe that it's real, and then it's a counter to a counter, and it's just lazy and boring, and it's just a signal of somebody that can't think of a good idea and decides that, oh, we're going to do this to get attention. And then while I'm getting my attention, I'm going to claim that they're doing it to get their attention. It's kind of stupid, and honestly, it's pretty lazy. And the last one I'm going to talk about, because I've always hated this one, because I never really understood why people get so, like, I don't know if they get upset being called this. Being called a white, or referred to as a white knight. Now, this usually comes with anytime usually, for the most part, the examples I've seen, when a woman, they get called out for tokenism, virtue signaling, or being fake woke, and then other people will tweet, Facebook comment, and or make a counter video and say like, oh, come on guys, lay off her, and then they'll be like, you're being a white knight, and I'm like, I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, in my mind, if someone called me a white knight or a social justice warrior, mostly a white knight, because social justice warriors are definitely, like, the hardcore ones are definitely annoying. But if someone ever called me a white knight, I kind of just look at them and be like, what are you talking about? Like, if I really believe that people are bugging somebody for no reason, and I say something, and you call me a white knight, I almost take that as a compliment. Like, you can think of it as sort of an insult, but I always thought about it as a compliment. But again, there are downsides. There are plenty of people who say they're white knights, but they're really just trying to get in somebody's good graces, and so I kind of understand. I'm on the fence about this one. So a lot of times I'll see people getting harassed, and then I'll kind of comment and be like, yo, like, you really, like, is this how you spend your time? And then they'll be like, you're defending a woman, oh, I bet your wife gets screwed by other men, and I'm like, I'm just saying, man, is this really a use of your time? You're just gonna spend your time harassing people? So that's my list of rhetorical accusations. Now, I tried to come up with an analogy for a while, so here's the one I was able to come up with. When somebody does this kind of strategy, I know what it's about. I know that most people, what they like to do is when they like to argue, they don't like to argue, they like to win. So when you say any of these terms, tokenism, virtue signaling, fake woke, white knight, you're putting yourself in a position where if you answer it, it's not going to really help. People's opinions aren't going to change. If you don't answer it, they're going to think whatever they think anyway. So that's why I came up with that phrase, rhetorical accusation, because there is no point of answering. You've drawn your line in the sand. You've already taken away anything. You've taken away the ability to have a conversation with you when you accuse somebody of that. I think that's super lame. I think that it takes more balls to try to converse with somebody that you don't agree with than to just accuse them of something where they can't answer without in your mind losing, but in my mind making yourself look worse. That's why when a lot of people like the Quartering, he calls out Kotaku every 5 seconds. They don't really care about him, because at the end of the day, they're still making money. They're still getting views. They're still a pretty big company. So they don't care. I just think it's so lame, because I think about it this way. My analogy was that it's like if a person that says these, an internet intellectual will say this, it's like they're bringing people into a courtroom as a prosecutor. And in the courtroom, there's no judge, there's no jury, there's no bailiff. There's only a prosecutor who is accusing them, and then the audience. And it is so stupid when you think about it like that. I mean, the guy doesn't even have evidence. I mean, it's so dumb. Like, it's a way to get your point across, get your own likes, push your own personal agenda, and make all your fans happy, and not even strike up a conversation. It's so stupid, and it's so cowardly. And most of the people that do this online, and I have my own guy that does it on Instagram on a random basis. I get harassed, told to kill myself, told I should stop. Why am I doing this? Why am I still trying? Well, I get that all the time, but that doesn't stop me, because it's one moron who's got nothing to better do with their life. But a lot of other people, especially people like Brie Larson, get that nonstop. But guess what? Brie Larson, Captain Marvel still made $1 billion. I think it wasn't that bad of a movie. I don't think it was the greatest. I definitely think Shazam was better than Captain Marvel, but it's not because of Brie Larson. It's just because it was a run-of-the-mill movie. Just get over yourself. it's one thing when you make all like it's like your personality is that you just want to win with people on the internet, but you can't even, you don't even have the balls to put your face on there. Half these people, their video, their pictures, their profile pictures, their thing is like mega private, and then their picture is like some anime character or like freaking some random meme. And I'm like, you literally have this account just so you can harass people. Like, and then you go on there and call people like Brie Larson a loser. I'm like, what are you talking about? You you are hiding yourself from the world so you can talk shit to people that will never care about you while she's walking away making money and has an Oscar. So shut up. People are still gonna move on with their lives, whether or not they get like to my troll, which I know his name. To my troll, I say, if this is how you want to spend your life, do you, bro? I'm not gonna stop you. I can't stop you, but you're also not gonna ever get under my skin or anything because I genuinely don't care. Now, anybody of you that likes the quartering or is an internet intellectual, hatred goes down below as always. If you'd like to start a conversation, let me know. If you want to, by the way, if I start hearing rhetorical accusations going around, I do want credit. This is my moment of whatever, showing that I came up with that phrase, but it's lame. It's dumb. It's the definition of passive aggressiveness. You're spineless. You're a coward. At least celebrities and people like this are able to put their face on something and stand by it. Whether it's fake or not, or whether there's virtue signaling or not, or tokenism or not, these dudes still have their names out there, and that's more than you can even do for yourselves. So have a great day. Quartering, I still don't like you, but I'd love to talk to you one day. Check out my video on the quartering if you hate him, or if you like him. If you want to get mad, get me some of those hate clicks. Thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to you guys soon.